1:13 and 14, you're filled, it's passive action. We are to yield, and the Spirit will fill. In this, Timothy will be able to properly keep that which is entrusted to him, and each believer will be able to move into a closer relationship with God. But this process can also be quenched. Therefore, the admonition here is for Timothy to always fan the flame and be intimately connected to God through yielding to the Spirit. In this, he will certainly keep that which is entrusted to him. You know, we have to do our part. If we're not actively pursuing God, then we are actively drawing away from him. There's no static in our relationship with Jesus. Okay, there's none. If we get shocked when a dog dies and it affects us. And it's a dog. I mean, I'd go out and I have a steak that night. Okay, and I'm eating a cow that I didn't know. I didn't have any relationship with that cow. But if I knew that cow personally and I petted it every day, I couldn't kill that cow easily. You know what I mean? I couldn't just go out and say, okay, here we go. There's a point where you have to go and do it. But it's something that affects us because we now have an affinity or an affiliation with that cow. My aunt had a cow, Abe. He was the biggest cow I've ever seen in my life. And I used to go out when I go up to Massachusetts and I'd take a rake and you'd rake him and he would drool. He'd just drool and drool. You know, I loved Abe, right? When Abe died, it affected me. And yet there's how many other cows out there? And when they die, I don't think about it. So what I'm saying is that now that Abe has been gone a long time, I'm no longer affected by it. He's just a memory that I think I remember Abe. Right? So you are drawing away as time passes from the source of that pain or that joy or that intimacy. So here's you with God and you are actively seeking God. You're getting closer to him all the time. But when you stop, you don't just stop. You're actually separating from each other, just like I am with Abe right now. Abe is going away in me because I am a human being in time and things are slipping away from me. You have your part to do. And that is to hold fast to Jesus and to fan the flames and to read the word and to make sure that you are listening to something healthy in a sermon. Because if you're not being fed properly, okay? But Abe, who's a great cow, I don't feel the way I do anymore. And every time I lose a dog, I think I miss that dog so much. And a week later, I miss him less. And a month later, I miss him less. And pretty soon, it was a great dog. That's all you think. He was a great dog. And you don't have any pain. It's just done. So, you know, we have to think, if I feel that way about a dog, why shouldn't I be feeling that way about the Lord who saved my life? Why shouldn't we do it?
Did Abe get eaten?
No, Abe, you know what, my uncle always said, if we have an economic collapse, the mountain, it's a mountain of 50 families up there, smallest township in Massachusetts, right? But he said the whole town is going to have enough food for a year. Well, they didn't because Abe eventually just died. And my aunt would have killed anybody that killed Abe. She loved that cow, you know, and, you know, she wouldn't eat her own animal, but if it was necessary, I know they would have. But no, Abe did not get eaten, but it was the funniest thing. You'd get a rake. They kept a rake right there by him. And somebody figured out that he liked it. And every time I'd visit, I'd pick up that rake and he'd walk over really quickly, start raking him. And he'd be just coming out of his nose, out of his mouth. His eyes would glaze over. It was just unbelievable. Wow. So it was a fun time. It was just, anyway, that's all done now. He's back to the earth.